Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. We've seen the animus directed at Caitlin Clark all year. It reached a boiling point yesterday.
You won't believe what just happened to Caitlin Clark. After facing a near career-ending incident, she now finds herself the target of a harsh and unprovoked attack from a reporter. It's been a rough moment for her, and the story has everyone talking. But what exactly transpired, and why did this reporter go after Clark so aggressively? Let's dive into the details.
Harassed by Carrington, finds Boston. Pain after she caught that fingertip in the eye or right around it from Carrington with no whistle.
So the playoffs have kicked off in the WNBA, and things are getting crazy. But not in the way we thought. Caitlin Clark, one of the biggest stars in the league, finally got her first playoff taste against the Connecticut Sun. You know that moment where she's supposed to shine, right? Well, it didn't go as planned. Seconds into the game, Suns' Jonai Carrington accidentally bumped Clark in the eye. It was a controversial play, but it totally changed the whole game.
First quarter, down 5, second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. Like, we were right there, and I felt like we just played a crappy game. Like, the flow of the game was really bad.
Caitlin Clark, known for her insane three-point shooting, was struggling to see after that hit. It was like she was playing blindfolded. It was heartbreaking to watch. This player who makes three-pointers look like child's play just couldn't find her rhythm. She finished the game with only 11 points, way below her usual average. And her shooting, forget about it, Dot. She took 17 shots and only made 4. That's a terrible 23.5% success rate. Her vision problems messed up her whole game. Even her signature assists were off. It was so frustrating to watch Caitlin Clark trying to force things she normally does with ease. Her passes were ending up in the wrong hands, and her shots weren't even close. It wasn't just her struggling. The whole Indiana Fever team was affected. Coach Christy Sides had to completely change her game plan. By the end of the game, they were losing, and everyone on the Fever team looked so disappointed. It wasn't just the loss, it was the feeling that they didn't get a fair chance to show what they could do.
That's great, and you have an opportunity to come back the next game and, try to play a little bit better and give yourself a chance to take it back home and win.
After all this drama, the question on everyone's mind was, what would happen next? Would the league address this whole mess? Fans were eager to see how the WNBA would respond to the incident. Some thought they might fine Jonai Carrington. Others thought they'd just give her a warning. But there were also rumors that she might get suspended. People were comparing this play to other incidents in the past to see if the league would think it was a big deal. If they suspended Carrington, it would have a huge impact on the series. But it wasn't just the players in the spotlight. Attention quickly shifted to the referees. Fans speculated that the officials might take a different approach in the next game, maybe calling fouls more readily if anyone so much as touched Caitlin Clark. It would be interesting to see if the refs would adopt a stricter stance moving forward.
I do want to touch on Caitlin Clark a little bit more. Yeah. Obviously, this is her first time experiencing this, a ton of pressure on her shoulders. You mentioned the stats.
But what about Caitlin Clark? Everyone's waiting to see if the Fever's doctors will let her play in the next game. And if she does play, will she wear some kind of eye protection? The next Fever Sun game is going to be crazy. If Caitlin is 100% fit, we might see her lead an amazing comeback. But if she's not fully recovered, Coach Christy Sides will have to come up with a new plan.
But the Connecticut Sun is hungry. They're physical. They've been here before. They have veteran leadership that can really infiltrate the entire team. Their shooting is going well. Their defense is great. Connecticut Sun is so well-rounded.
On the Suns side, the big question is, will they stick to their winning strategy from the first game? I mean, it worked, right? But what if Clark comes back firing on all cylinders? They might have to completely change things up on the fly. One thing's for sure. Clark's gonna be under serious pressure. The Sun knows she's the heart and soul of the Fever, injured or not. Expect to see her double-teamed all over the court. The rest of the Fever team is gonna have to step up big time. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, this is their chance to shine. This could be the game that defines their careers so far.
Caitlin Clark in her first game of the WNBA postseason that she's ever played in. But how can the Fever win a game in Connecticut? Because look, if they win one and take this thing back to Gamebridge, this is a real series now.
And let's not forget about the mental game. The Fever's got their backs against the wall after losing that first game. It's going to take some serious mental toughness to bounce back. But one thing that could make a huge difference: the crowd. The next game is at the Fever's home court, and you can bet the place will be packed. The fans will be cheering them on every step of the way.
You say to the crowd of people that think a hit like that was intentional, or maybe even better?
It wasn't intentional by any means. You just watched the play. It wasn't intentional.
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. And I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
Yet this whole incident raises a crucial question. What does this mean for the WNBA's future? Caitlin Clark isn't just a talented player, she's a phenomenon. She's brought more attention to the league than we've seen in years. Packed arenas, big money TV deals, social media buzz. It all exploded when she came on the scene. But now, what happens? What if this incident is more than just an isolated incident? What if it's the start of a trend where people start playing tougher and more aggressive against rising stars?
Within the WNBA, players, pundits, etc., that were trying to tear her down. And so how y'all look now?
The WNBA is in a tough spot. On one hand, they have a chance to make the league even bigger because of Caitlin Clark. But if players get hurt because of too much physical play, it could ruin the excitement. It's a tricky situation. How do you keep the game exciting without putting the stars at risk? How do you let players like Clark shine without making the game too soft? This isn't just about Clark. It's about all the young players coming up and the future of women's basketball. As the stakes rise, this playoff series could be a defining moment. It could show us what kind of league the WNBA wants to be. Do they want to protect their players and help them grow? Or do they want to let players get hurt? The answer to this question will affect the rest of the playoffs and Caitlin Clark's career as a whole. However, not all the buzz around Clark is positive. Some controversy is heating up off the court. A reporter named Roberta Rodriguez is saying some pretty harsh things about Clark. She's basically saying that Clark acts like a spoiled kid and expects her teammates to do everything for her. Rodriguez thinks Clark's teammates are basically babysitting her. She also thinks Clark doesn't do enough to help her teammates when they get in trouble. Rodriguez says it's hard to like Clark because of this. She compares Clark to other players who get a lot of criticism but don't act the same way. This kind of scrutiny isn't new for Clark though. She's had her share of awkward encounters with the media before. Remember that time after the Fever played the Wings? She had to deal with another weird question. This time, some prankster asked her a really strange question. It was full of old-fashioned slang and didn't make any sense. Clark was like, "Is this real life?" She was trying to figure out what the guy was talking about. And there was this other time, early on in her first WNBA season, when she had a run-in with a reporter. This reporter asked her about her boyfriend using that slang term BAEI. And let me tell you, she was totally caught off guard. These kinds of moments really show how tough it can be for athletes to deal with the media. Sometimes reporters can go off on a tangent, especially if they're trying to make a splash or get some attention. But amidst all this media scrutiny, there's something big happening in the league that everyone is buzzing about. The WNBA regular season is over, and people are starting to talk about who should win MVP.
Now that we've got that done, let's get to some quick hitters before we go to break, okay? First up in the business, A'ja Wilson, unanimous league MVP for the WNBA, okay?
Everyone thinks A'ja Wilson will win for the third time. She might even win unanimously. But even though she's the favorite, people still have to vote for their top 5. A lot of people have Wilson, Napheesa Collier, Breanna Stewart, and Caitlin Clark in their top 5. It's crazy that Clark is on the list with those other superstars. When they asked Clark about it, she was humble and proud. She said she's improved a lot this season, and she's just trying to have fun and play her best. Clark said that winning MVP would be cool, but she's more focused on her team's success. It seems like Clark will be in the MVP conversation for a long time. But where will things go from here? Will the Fever bounce back stronger, or will this playoff series leave a lasting mark? And how will Clark handle the growing scrutiny, both on and off the court? Share your thoughts in the comment below. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button.